According to North Korean state media reports, Kim Jong-un has called for scaling up the production of weapons-grade nuclear material to grow the country's arsenal. He made the remarks while inspecting the country's nuclear weapons program. This includes new tactical nuclear weapons and technology for mounting warheads on ballistic missiles. North Korea has been ramping up military tests, firing short-range ballistic missiles and conducting nuclear counterattack simulations. Pyongyang's leader said that North Korea should be ready to use nuclear weapons at any time. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has announced that he is pausing the controversial judicial overhaul bill, saying that he wanted to give time to seek a compromise over the bill with his political opponents, further asserting on how he was not ready to divide the nation in half. The announcement was made after one of the biggest domestic protest movement in Israeli history. Tens of thousands of Israelis demonstrated outside parliament, and workers launched a nationwide strike in a dramatic escalation of the mass protest movement in the country.
שלא צריך להיכנע לאנרכיסטים.
The White House spokesperson during a briefing welcomed Israel's decision to pause legislation to reform its judiciary. The White House spokesperson added that the U.S. welcomes this announcement as an opportunity to create additional time and space for compromise. The White House emphasized the importance of checks and balances after widespread protests of the contested plans. A 28-year-old shooter fatally shot 3 children and 3 adults at a private school in Nashville in the United States. Police say the shooter had drawn detailed maps of the school, including entry points for the building, and left behind an alleged manifesto. The Metropolitan Nashville Police Department began receiving calls around 10 a.m. of a shooter at the school, and arriving officers reported hearing gunfire coming from the building's second floor. After this, 2 officers from a 5-member team shot the assailant in the lobby, and the assailant was pronounced dead later. The United Nations Security Council has declined a Russian request to investigate the blasts on the Nord Stream pipelines that move natural gas from Russia to Europe under the Baltic Sea. The U.S. Deputy Ambassador said there is no need for a United Nations probe when investigations by Sweden, Denmark and Germany are being conducted in a comprehensive, transparent and impartial manner. The pipelines known as Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 are a majority owned by Russia's state-run energy giant Gazprom. The explosions on both occurred on September 26th last year. United Nations-backed human rights experts have said there is an evidence that crimes against humanity have been committed against Libyans and migrants in Libya, including women being forced into sexual slavery. Now, according to the report, migrants across Libya are victims of murder and forced disappearance, torture, enslavement, sexual violence, rape, and other inhumane acts are committed in connection with arbitrary detention. The findings come in an extensive new report based on interviews with hundreds of people. This wraps up a fact-finding mission created nearly 3 years ago to investigate rights violations and abuses in the North African country. NATO troops held evacuation exercises on the Romanian coast. The naval forces practiced evacuating civilians from coastal areas in the Danube Delta, an area bordering Ukraine's Odessa region. Odessa has been the site of numerous missile strikes since Russia launched a full-scale invasion of just over a year ago. The drills in Romania are a part of the Sea Shield 23 exercises involving 3,400 troops from countries across the NATO alliance, including the United States and the United Kingdom. The exercises are due to continue until April the 4th. U.S. aircraft carrier USS Nimitz arrived in South Korea's southern hub of Busan According to a South Korean Navy official, a U.S. carrier strike group led by USS Nimitz staged ongoing military exercises with South Korea in the international waters off the southern island of Jeju. This is to improve the execution of U.S. extended deterrence, its military capability, especially nuclear forces, to deter attacks on its allies. Two people were killed and 29 others wounded on March 27th after Russian forces fired 2 missiles at an eastern city northwest of Bakhmut. According to regional governor, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky also separately posted a video on his social media allegedly showing the aftermath of the attack. The video showed several burning cars and smoldering debris in what appeared to be a residential area. Ukraine's ground forces commander stated that Kyiv was planning its next move. This comes after Moscow shifted the focus from a flagging assault on the eastern city of Bakhmut to another town farther south. The Russian Defense Ministry has released images showcasing their Navy firing supersonic anti-ship Moskit missiles at a mock enemy in the Sea of Japan. The Russian Defense Ministry published a statement alongside the images. They claimed that they were able to successfully hit a target located at a distance of about 100 kilometers by a direct hit from 2 Moskit cruise missiles. Chancellor Olaf Scholz confirmed that Germany has delivered 18 Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine and is still preparing to deliver more tanks. He made this announcement during a news conference with his Dutch counterpart while in the Netherlands. Together with Sweden and Portugal, Leopard 2 tanks have been promised to Ukraine and 4 more tanks than originally planned were delivered. Leopard 1 tanks are also set to be delivered but are currently under repair in Germany. The financing of the tank repairs is being provided by Germany, Denmark and the Netherlands. India's army chief says China is looking to replace the United States as a global security provider. General Manoj Pandey quoted the example of Iran-Saudi deal that was brokered by China to bring peace in the troubled West Asian region. A teacher in Brazil has died after a 13-year-old student stabbed her alongside 3 other teachers and 2 classmates at a public school in Sao Paulo City. The 5 wounded victims are in a hospital and are currently in a stable condition. The teenager has been taken to a police station to be interrogated alongside his parents. According to reports, the state's military police is investigating the case and the motive behind the knife attack, which has not been made clear. A 3-day mourning period will be declared in honor, or has been declared in honor of the teacher who died. Venezuelan teachers took to the streets of Caracas to demand better salaries. In the capital city of Caracas, protesters holding signs and chanting slogans marched to the Education Ministry building. This comes as the government of President Maduro faces renewed challenges in its attempt to fight inflation. Economists have estimated that Venezuela's inflation reached 300% last year. Currently, the minimum monthly salary for a public school teacher is about $10, while university professors earn between $60 and $80. Demonstrations in Kenya's capital Nairobi turned into tribal clashes on Monday as various groups of people charged at each other, throwing stones and using metal sheeting as shields. In the western city of Kisumu, the Kenyan police fired tear gas and water cannons at stone-throwing supporters of opposition leader Raila Odinga on Monday. The clashes broke out as Odinga's convoy passed through Kawangware neighborhood in the capital Nairobi. Hundreds of supporters had gathered around the convoy shouting, "Ruto must go." Peruvian authorities have seized 2.3 tons of cocaine, which they believe was en route to Turkey. According to the authorities, the drugs were disguised as ceramic tiles. The drug bust took place at a warehouse at Peru's biggest port. At a press conference, the police displayed the cocaine. It appeared to have been fixed to rubber sheets to appear as hundreds of ceramic tiles packed in wooden boxes inside a shipping container. The police estimated the value of the cocaine at $20 million. Heavy rains in northeastern Brazil have created giant erosion gullies, nearly 230 feet deep and 1,640 feet long. Although a recurrent problem in the region, the amount of rain in the last 10 days aggravated the gully phenomenon. When vegetation is scarce and no longer protects the soil, leaving the terrain more susceptible to erosion. Because of the heavy rain in Maranhão state, 49 cities declared a state of emergency. So far, 6 people have died and more than 31,000 families have been affected, with around 5,800 families being displaced. In a landslide triggered by months of heavy rainfall in the south of Ecuador, at least 7 people have been killed and 23 people hurt and almost 50 currently missing. After the landslide, Ecuador's president tweeted that firefighters from neighboring areas have been deployed to the affected village. Images shared on local media showed dozens of rescuers and civilians trying to clear debris by hand in the dead of night with only torches for light in the mountainous region. The government said it had mobilized the National Police, Armed Forces, the Health Ministry and the Red Cross to help with the rescue efforts. Firefighters battled a wildfire in eastern Spain fueled by winds and dry weather. Spain's first major wildfire of the year swept through woodlands in Valencia and Aragon regions over the past 5 days, forcing around 1,500 people to leave their homes. Firefighters from the region and from the military emergency unit joined forces with other emergency services to protect the urban areas and the natural parks. Spain's Prime Minister said the unseasonably warm weather was a consequence of climate change, and Spain is experiencing a long-term drought after 3 years of below-average rainfall. With the lockdown during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Maya Bay in Thailand, a crucial nursery for young sharks, gave way to coral reefs, sharks and marine life flourishing. However, tourist return, although better for revenue, proved to be detrimental for marine life. With increasing pressure to keep the bay open, the authorities decided to come to a compromise. In order to not disturb the baby sharks, tourists are not allowed to venture out into water past their knees. The boats that bring visitors to Maya Bay now have to dock on the other side of the island to avoid damaging coral reefs. Only 375 visitors are allowed per hour. Air quality in northern Thailand has climbed to hazardous levels as a result of seasonal agricultural burning across the region. Local media reported that 4,115 hotspots were detected in northern Thailand the past 24 hours. Parts of the country hit an air quality index reading of 582, making it 124.9 times above a recommended limit given by the World Health Organization. Ranger, a rescued juvenile dolphin, is thriving and socializing with other dolphins at Dolphin Research Center in Florida Keys. The orphaned male named Ranger was rescued in June 2021 after being discovered stranded in waters near Texas. He was found near his dead mother. Vice President of Animal Care and Training at the DBC says that Ranger was shifted to the Dolphin Center. He has fully adapted into a new family.
You jumped all by yourself. Come on up, little guy! Yeah! Go, Ranger, go! Woo! Good boy!
Dinosaur sculptures dating back to 1854 in South London's Crystal Palace Park is set to get a new facelift, as it will benefit from new funding announced by the UK's National Lottery Heritage Fund. The total funding is worth over £24 million, and Crystal Park is set to receive almost £5 million. The Heritage Fund chief executive said that these dinosaurs are in the Grade 1 category. An Afghan child who was separated from her parents in 2021 was reunited with her family on March 27th this year. The girl, Aliza, was separated during the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in August 2021. A blast in Kabul airport killed her parents, and she was taken to Doha by a teenager. She was living in an orphan care center. Officials traced her relatives and confirmed them through DNA testing. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.